Do. I still don't have a theme song. Do. I'll come up with it later. Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome back to the Games Cage podcast, episode 2. First of all, really quick, I want to give a big thank you for supporting me on episode 1. We got a ton of comments on the YouTube version. We got some views on the Apple Podcast version, Spotify version, SoundCloud version. So I want to thank you all for listening. I want to thank you all for the feedback. Everybody was actually really overwhelmingly positive. Like, there was no negativity. I think everybody was actually pretty surprised how I handled a solo podcast, because it can be difficult, honestly, because you're just the one person talking, and if someone's not interested, boom, you're done, you're fucked. But I did well, I think, and I hope you guys stay for the ride, and I really want to thank you. So, for those of you that don't know, this is the Games Cage podcast. I'm your host, Fidel. No, my name is not Games Cage, sadly. And yes, I mean, like, let's, you know what? I don't wanna, do the thing where I just go how was my week? It was great. Oh my god, let's just get right the fuck into it. So first of all, like every week for the foreseeable future, we're gonna start the episode off with the games I've played during the week. Then we're gonna go into the news, and then I'm gonna pull the questions I got from Twitter. Remember, you could find me at MTLSayin on Twitter, or you could go on Twitch/GamesCage or YouTube/GamesCage, and usually all the podcast feeds are just the Games Cage podcast. So other than my Twitter being MTLSayin, everything else is Games Cage branded, right? So, yeah, I mean, hey, I've had a great week. I hope you guys have had a great week. And let's just start off the show, because we've got a pretty packed show. Now, news-wise, it's actually pretty light. But for my video game talk, it's huge, because this is going to be the Fire Emblem. This is basically the Fire Emblem episode. I mean, we're going to talk about other games I've played too, but I mean, there's going to be a big chunk of this episode devoted to Fire Emblem Three Houses. I wanted to make a YouTube video of my impressions so far, but I was like, you know what? Let's just save it for the podcast. Let's do something special for once, right? So, yeah, so that's right. So let's get right into it. So for games I've played, before we go into the big one, I played some more Mario Maker, as always, loving my time with that. I released a new stage called POW Power. It's basically a stage where you just have to guide a POW block to the end of the stage, and there's a part where the POW block is moving by itself and you got to follow it. So I actually really liked making that stage. What I noticed, what was really funny, was because I decided to make that an easier stage, and I realized I don't have as much fun making an easy stage as I do a hard one, because a hard stage is it's so much fun to make because I'm trying to think of these weird, crazy ways to do difficult shit. Whereas when I make an easy stage, I'm just like, okay, I mean, I guess I'll put a fucking Goomba over there, and then I'll be like, whatever. So it's actually more fun for me to make challenging stages. Maybe I'm fucked up like that, but here we are. So yeah, I mean, that was that for Mario Maker, so I'll continue, obviously, to play more of that. I played a bit of Smash Bros. I mean, I'm going to EVO next week, so, oh yeah, I mean, I guess next week there's no episode, right? Unless I record it a little earlier. But yeah, for as far as we're concerned, next week I shouldn't be recording an episode because I will be at EVO, or maybe I'll just record it early. Who fucking knows? So played a bit of more Smash Bros. Again, that's always fun. Trying to train a bit for EVO, even though I'm still gonna get my ass beat, or I'm gonna win EVO. Those are two very different options, but are very both possible. Then I actually tried the Oninaki Demo. So yeah, this is the upcoming game by the developer, I believe, Tokyo RPG Factory. They've made 2 games so far, I Am Setsuna and Lost Sphear, that have both been received pretty mixed. I mean, some people really like I Am Setsuna. I know my best friend really loves it. And Lost Sphear, no one actually really likes. I mean, that's a whole thing. But now they're making their new game called Oninaki. Now, Oninaki is more of an action RPG style of game. They're going for a more artistic style. It's a pretty dark and fucked up game. Basically, the premise is that you're basically these people called wanderers or some shit, and your job is to bring people who are in between life and death into the afterlife. So let's say someone dies, their job would be in the afterlife to actually go and make sure people go to the afterlife because they're not ready to pass on yet. So it's a pretty sad and messed up premise, I think. Now, I recommend you try the demo to get your own thoughts on the game. But for my thoughts on from what I played, I thought it was okay. Now, my biggest issue was not the story, because like I said, the story is really fascinating. There's this one fucked up part where there's a child who's dead, and you want to bring him to the afterlife, and he's like, I'm not ready. I want to see my parents one more time. So it's really fucking sad. So you take the kid to his parents, and then his parents are like, his parents are like, we don't want to live anymore. Like, we don't want to live without him. We want to be with him. So you literally, as the Wanderers, kill his parents and bring him to the afterlife with the kid. So really dark stuff, really fucking heavy shit. And I mean, that's really early in the game. I mean, the demo is the beginning of the game. But yeah, it can get pretty dark and interesting. So on the story front, I feel like the game is doing great stuff. But when it comes to the gameplay, I feel like it really lacks. So essentially, it's more, if it's kind of a top-down perspective, you're essentially spamming the Y button and then occasionally pressing a different button in order to do a special move. So in the game, you can collect these things called spirits, and you can get, demons, basically. And you can have up to 4 in your party. And basically, each demon at first only has 1 skill, but then later in the game, they're going to have multiple skills. So this is my biggest issue with the demo. I feel like the demon ID and having those attacks is really cool. But because in the demo you're limited to the beginning of the game where you have 2 demons and they all have 1 move, all I was doing, and I'm not even kidding, is Y, 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 R. Y, 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 R, and A. Y, 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 R, and A. Like, it's like, that's all I was doing the entire time. There's no, like, dodge roll button or anything. So, I mean, it really felt really button spammy for the wrong reasons. Like, there's a lot of games where I don't mind the button spam, like in Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, because you've got a lot of special moves and you're doing like crazy weird moves in your characters that you know and love. When I'm playing as this random dude that I don't give a shit about, and all he's doing is sword slashes and he's going hiya, hiya, hiya. It's like whatever. So combat was really bland, and again, I really do think it's because of the demo. I think putting you early in the game is not how you do a demo. I feel like a good demo is one that puts you at a part in the game where you have enough skills to kind of give you a taste of what the game is going to be like. Now, the demo does have a battle mode that I didn't play, where apparently in the battle mode, you can go in a room and try out crazy attacks and shit. So, I mean, there is more to it. But yeah, I just felt like, other than the story, I feel like the gameplay might be lacking. So if you're a gameplay type of person, I don't know, I'd say try the demo. I feel like try it and then get your own opinion on it. But yeah, for my taste, it's like, it was good. I mean, I don't think I need it. It comes out August 22nd, I believe, so it's not on my must-buy list. Next up, I also finished Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. As you guys know, on the channel, I uploaded a review. And again, if you didn't see the review, I had a great time with the game. I think the game is just super, super fun. It exceeded my expectations because I really went in thinking, this is just going to be a fun game, but I had a blast playing it. And I think it is primarily because I got to experience it online with my friends. So the 4 of us got to play online. We were just switching around to the characters we love, laughing our asses off, leveling up characters, doing infinity trials, all this stuff. Again, I don't want to get too in the weeds about it because it is what's it called? I already reviewed it and talked about it. You can check out my review. But again, highly recommend this game at a discount. I feel like maybe at $60, the amount of time you're getting, I feel like only get it for this price if you are like a huge Marvel nerd and if you have friends to play with. If not, I'd say wait for it to be like $40, which I think it will be like this holiday season, like $40, $30. And then you can play it and have a great time because it really is a super fun game with a lot of cool RPG elements and great story and great environments. So that's it for the games that aren't important. Now, guys, oh shit, here we go. Fire Emblem Three Houses. Oh man. Fire Emblem Three Houses, guys, as you know, one of the most anticipated Switch games. One of like, it's funny how Fire Emblem, again, was a niche franchise for Nintendo, and it was on the brink of death. And then Fire Emblem Awakening came out and saved the franchise, selling over 1 million copies, which is huge for a fucking, not even like a turn-based RPG, a tactical RPG. And it really forever changed what the series would be, right? People would really just look at Fire Emblem in a different light. We started getting the mobile game Heroes, which is huge. We got Shadows of Valencia. We got Fates, which was like 3 games basically. We got what's it called? What's the other Fire Emblem Warriors. So Fire Emblem has just become a beast of its own throughout the years now. And here we are finally with the first console game in over 10 years maybe since the Wii. And here we are with Fire Emblem Three Houses. And guys, I sadly only got to play 8 hours of the game. I know that sounds like a lot, but for this game, it's not much. But man, I am absolutely in love with this fucking game. I just don't get, man. I know I talk about the Switch a lot. I know I love the Switch a lot. I know it's my baby. I know it's like just the love of my life. But it's just incredible, just how much how incredible Nintendo's first-party lineup is on the Switch. It's genuinely, I really do think it's unrivaled. I really think, other than the SNES maybe, by this point, I feel like the Switch is already Nintendo's best first-party lineup. Again, maybe I'm overshooting things, but I feel like, especially now with what's still coming this year, like the fact that I just can't believe how they're pumping out first-party games this year, right? Whether it's this, and we just got Mario Maker, and Ultimate Alliance 3 was exclusive, and we're getting what's called Astral Chain, we're getting Link's Awakening, Luigi's Mansion, Pokemon. It's just like there's so many things. I'm sure I'm missing at the Daemon X Machina. There's a couple things in there, but it's like, it is insane just how many first-party games we're getting at the quality we're getting. And again, that is thanks to the fact that now, instead of having handheld exclusive games like from the Game Boy or whatever console, and then the console ones, we're getting everything here. So it's just making everything a beautiful mix of all. So Fire Emblem Three Houses, guys, I'm in love with this game, and let's get right into it, right? So for those of you that don't know, again, Fire Emblem is a tactical RPG, which basically, for those of you who don't know what that means, it basically means your characters are on a grid, like you're looking at the game from top down. I mean, you could shift the camera a bit, and you basically have an army of units, and you have to bring them across the map, and there's different weapon, there's different, like, characters that are better than others, or do better in different spots, or like there's bow and arrow people, there's why am I saying horsemen? I don't know what the fuck they're called. There's obviously magicians, there's sword wielders, there's axe wielders. So it's basically, you're going around a grid, you're trying to find the best ways to get into your enemy line. Sometimes the game will throw in objectives like get to the end of the stage or without all your teams dying, right? And basically, you can play the game in two ways. You can play it in casual or classic. Now, classic Fire Emblem is basically permadeath. So essentially, if one of your characters dies, then they can't be brought back to life, and I don't like that. That's not my thing. I don't play these games to break my head, and I'm not the best at tactical strategy games, so I put it on casual mode where they just come back to life after the match ends. So yeah, basically you play like that. So that's kind of the gist of what it is. But another big aspect people really love about Fire Emblem beyond the tactical gameplay is the social elements, the characters. Characters have been a huge part of Fire Emblem across the entire series, right? It's something people really care about and really value. And basically, this game has doubled and tripled the fuck down on it. We've seen ever since, like, all the Fire Emblem games have these kind of support unit conversations, which basically means when you pair up two characters together, they talk to each other a lot, and you can build up the relationship so that they can either eventually get married, or they can basically, like, work together in fights and do way more damage, right? And it's not just that. You get these characters fleshed out through these conversations. So if I put my main character, whose name is Byleth, I mean, you could switch it to anything, and I put it next to Edelgard, which is one of the leaders of the Three Houses. If we're next to each other in fights and I spend time with her outside of fights, we build our relationship, and I could either end up dating her, or I end up just having really good stats with her when she's next to me. So it leads to a lot of cool shit. So, Matt, where do I even start with this game? Because there's so many things, right? So let's start with just the overall theme of the game. So basically, the theme of Fire Emblem Three Houses is you are a teacher, and you basically get recruited to go to the school called the Monarch Monastery, I believe, something like that. I don't know the exact names. All the names are really fucking weird. But basically, you're going to a Hogwarts school to be a teacher, and everyone there are your students, and there are three major houses. The House of the Black Eagles, which is basically the home to one of the empires, right? And then you've got the House of the Golden Deers and the House of the Blue Lions. All of these houses are just, what's weird is you see a lot of those. You see obviously Edelgard and what's that fucking guy's name? Claude and the other dude. Basically the leaders of the Three Houses that you've seen in all the posters and shit. But they're honestly just students. What's special about them, though, is that they're students, but they are of high regard in their kingdoms, right? So, like, Edelgard is just a student, but she's in line to be the next empress of her kingdom. You've got Claude, who's in line to be the next leader of his, and so on and so forth. What the fuck? What the fuck's the Blue Lions guy's name? I don't fucking know. Blondie. Let's call him Blondie, right? So you got Blondie, who basically wants to be the king of his kingdom. So other than that, everyone's your student, and basically your job is to train them throughout the semesters. You're going to do battles with them. You're going to make them better. You're going to teach them new skills. You're trying to help them basically achieve their goals as fucking tactical combat people. And essentially the game breaks down into two scenarios. You've got the school life, which is the social aspect of the game, and the battles. Now, oh man, Fire Emblem has over the years has done a great job with this, but I feel like this game is obviously so Persona inspired. I can't believe just how Persona inspired this game is. Like, essentially, literally, you have a calendar, right? And you are basically like going through different days of the week, and you can choose what to do, right? You have days where you can teach the students lessons, or there's days where you can free roam around the castle and basically talk to a bunch of students and do side missions with them. Like, it'll be like, talk to this person for me, get me this information, go planting, go fucking have tea with me to up our strength. You can literally even have lunch with them to up the relationships. You can train with them. It's like there are more and more things unlocking as I'm going, but it's like just the social aspect of the game is incredible for a couple of reasons. First of all, we've had we've had voice acting in Fire Emblem games before, but like this is one of the first times I think maybe the Wii one does, but I think this is the first time in a long time everything is voice acted, right? So it's not only main cutscenes, it's like side cutscenes. It's literally when you're walking around the school and talking to students, everybody is voice acted. You'll walk around, some people will just say, "Hey there, professor," right? And you'll talk to people, they'll always be voice acted. Like, it's insane just how many lines of dialogue all these characters had to record, because like let's say you're with one of the students, they had to record dialogue for when one of them talks to the other one and all their support units. It's like there is a ton of voice acting work going on here. It's insane, and I'm in love with it because it really makes the world feel so much more alive. Because I've never been someone, it's funny, other than maybe I'd say a year ago, I really haven't been the one who's always been like, oh, we need voice acting in games. But the more I see it, the more it feels weird when there isn't. Like when I played the Oninaki demo, I actually found it kind of weird that there was no voice acting, right? And because again, a game like Octopath Traveler last year, which was even pixel art, did have voice acting, right? And basically, it's essentially the fact that like I feel like especially in an RPG with a lot of characters, I like voice acting because your main character doesn't talk, you respond with just like dialogue choices, right? But it's like all the characters around you are speaking, so it feels alive and feels fleshed out, right? So basically, early on in the game, you pick one of your 3 houses. I'm Team Black Eagles, always, all day, and basically each house has like I want to say like 8 students that are unique to them. I'm not sure, maybe a little more. And essentially in the game, you get to like kind of meet them and talk to them. And yeah, basically what I love about this game, oh man, there's so many things I love. I'm going to go on for a while about this, right? It's just, I love that the students aren't just like, they don't just look like they want to fuck you. Because a lot of Fire Emblem games the past years, I think especially with Awakening and Fates, it feels like every character is designed to be really sexy and wanting to fuck you, and like sexually clothed and everything, which is fine, I don't mind that. But it's like, in this game, they really do feel like students, where you've got like just average looking dudes. I mean, obviously, they've got weird anime shit, like some have short blue hair or some have long green hair or whatever, but like not everybody is there to fuck, right? These students are actually there to learn, to understand things, blah blah blah. So it's like, I just love the diversity in the students. There's one student in my house of Black Eagles called Petra, and she's from the Brigid Kingdom, and she has like a really broken English, so it's always funny to hear her dialogue. And then you've got one of the dudes, he's like a cocky swordsman. You've got another one who's the very like edgy magician. It's like, I love the character tropes and varieties, and what I love about them is they're not just one-note characters, right? You are really getting to know them as time goes on, right? So let's say one of the characters, sorry if I'm sniffing, by the way, I'm a little sick. One of the characters is called Bernadette in your house, and she's basically scared of everything. Like, she's always like, please stay away with me, or she hides in a room wherever. And at first, you could be like, are you just gonna do that the whole game? But then, like, as you get her to talk to other characters, you see her open up and be like, I just kind of want to be your friend. Do you want to hang out with me? And the way she'll interact with the others, and it's like, she freaks out. It's like, it's so nice just to see character interactions and moments like that. And it's like, I don't know, there's just something about the game's characters that are really intriguing. And I also think because, well, I mean, there's one aspect that I don't like too much, which is the game has a lot of lore to it. Now, obviously, again, if you're a super nerd, that's a good thing. But when you aren't, a lot of the things they say kind of just like blend, like that's kind of when your brain tunes out. Like, there will be moments where they're like, this person is from this kingdom of this house and that house, and then my father's cousin was from this house, and I'm like, whoa, guys, like, this is my first game in this series. I understand you're building this universe, and it's crazy just how much there is to it. But it's like, you can't just like casually in these lines of conversation throw out 10 houses at me for all this conversation's sake, and I just don't know what you're saying, right? So that's the case of every Fire Emblem game. There's always, or even any fantasy thing, honestly. Even like Game of Thrones, I get lost in the dialogue sometimes. But other than that, again, the character moment-to-moment stuff is really good. I'm not at the point yet where there's a main villain. I'm getting to a bit of that early stage where it's like, there's clearly threats coming towards the school, and obviously there's going to be an overarching threat, but I'm actually not there yet. I'm still, again, this game is really long. I'm hearing that this game is over 60 to 70 hours, basically. I think 80 is a bit of a stretch, whoever first said that, because most reviewers I saw said it takes them 60 to 70 hours, and especially if you are doing what I'm doing, which is like, whenever you have time, right, because you could choose to, like I said, you could choose to roam around the school, talk to the students, do side quests, or you could go into battles just to get more XP, or you can do lessons to teach them to get better stats and stuff. So it's like, it's pretty insane. It's just incredible just how much they have, just incredible just how much variety there is in the activities. And it's like, I know, again, I'm very early on, and I just love it, guys. I can't believe it. I really think you should do yourself a favor and buy this game. Again, I knew this was going to be amazing, but I love how so early on I'm addicted to everything. And this game does the very Persona thing, which I really love, where everything you do kind of fits into your stats, right? Like, obviously you are there to socialize and stuff, but it's not for nothing, right? You don't want to do all this stuff. Well, and some people just want to do it to get to know the characters, but I like that there's a reward, right? Where basically talking to students builds your relationship with them, which builds up their confidence, which allows them to learn lessons faster, which gives them stat boosts. It's that cool thing that I've always loved, where everything you do has a purpose, and they make the social stuff that you would normally think is boring in real life, they make it super fun. And I really do think, like, I feel like in some ways, what's it called? Persona is a really great, I feel like Persona is a really great example of how to handle social aspects in games. And I just feel like this game might have gotten a bit of a delay because they saw how Persona 5 did so well, and they want to integrate a bit more of that into the game. Like, I know I don't know if that's for sure, but it's like, I really do feel like Persona 5 really set a wave of how you handle social stuff with regular combat stuff, right? So again, social stuff is fantastic. I love also the castle, like the school. It's really big, and like I said, you have like cool characters to talk to. I also really like the art style of the game, so that's kind of clean. Sorry about that truck out there. I love it. And so that's when it comes to the social stuff. Now the gameplay, right? Obviously, the tactical gameplay is always amazing. There's something about Fire Emblems though that's always so good. Like, again, like, there's a lot of them that obviously they work on. There's a lot of tactical RPGs out there. I mean, not too many, but there are a good amount. But there's something about the way that Fire Emblem handles how you have units, or how you can like see the arrow or how you go to an enemy and seeing how much damage you'll do to them, and trying to strategize. Okay, I'm going to send these units all the way here. I'm going to send those units all the way to the west, some to the north, and separating your team tactically to be like, okay, let's get a swordsman and an archer there, and a broad whatever the fuck, you know what I mean? So it's like, I just love the variety and how you can place your units. And again, they've added some cool new elements. So basically they got rid of the weapons triangle, which is like a major thing in Fire Emblem games. It's always been a big thing within the series, and now they've replaced that, I think, with just like stronger weapons. Like, now it's just like, if your weapon is strong, it'll do more damage to someone. Obviously some units are still better than others, but now it is down to just like, is my weapon stronger or better? And I actually kind of like that, because it doesn't limit you to this like grid of like a basic system that's been there forever. Again, they're really changing things up. They've also got a cool mechanic, which is like a rewind mechanic, essentially, that you can limitedly use, and I think that's really smart, especially for people that are playing with the permanent death mode. You don't want to like fuck up, you want to do the best strategy you can, but it's coming useful for me as well. So I really love that. What else did they add? There's a bunch of stuff. Again, this game is really nerdy, and I'm only 8 hours in, right? This is the type of game where in 20 hours I'm going to unlock something. I already have this thing called battalions, and essentially battalions are like a war army you can bring in battle with you, and basically when you bring them in battle with you, you can do like crazy damage. Like, you can have a bunch of, and you can choose what kind of army you want. You can have some that like push enemies away, you have stuff that distract them, you have some that can damage them, and it's like, there's just so much variety and flexibility. Even within your students, you can like change what class they want to do. You can encourage them to learn something else and something different. And it's just like there's so many things. It can be a little overwhelming, I admit, right? Like, I'm not a super nerd like that. I mean, you're a fucking nerd. I'm not. I've never been a nerd in my life, but it's like I'm a nerdy guy about all this stuff, right? But it's like even there's some stuff where I can't even go too deep into it. It's like I had the game on hard and not classic, casual mode, and I got my ass beat. So then I put it back to normal because I'm just not. I'd say I'm fine at strategy games. I'm not great, right? Because I'm not always like the best at knowing all these stats or which one's better than that, blah blah blah. So either way, guys, I'm having an amazing time. I think this game, what I love about it is it's addicting. I remember that, especially with Awakening and Fates, I remember I would do a battle or two and then be like, okay, I'm good. Here, because of the social aspect stuff, it's just so addicting to be like, okay, I'm going to go talk to this character, do this side quest, do this. Oh shit, I'm going to teach my students this. Let me go hang out with this person, etc., etc., etc. So I just really love this game so much. And again, I highly recommend it. Obviously, this is not the last you're going to hear me talk about this game. I'm so early on. But again, if you have been excited for this game, 1,000% recommend it. If you have any interest in a sort of RPG on the Switch, I'd say get this. It's like it nails characters, story moments. Because again, obviously I'm still in the lighthearted part of the story, right? Where everything is about just, hey, let's get to know your students. Let's get to the world, right? And again, there's some hints of like a villain or something. But it's like, I'm still very early on. I don't know shit about this game, essentially. But again, art style's dope. Gameplay's dope. I think it's actually surprisingly good looking on handheld mode. Like, it feels like everything is crisp. And yeah, I just love it so much. So I highly recommend Fire Emblem Three Houses. And that game is going to destroy my time. Like, I love how that and, Mario Maker 2 are just my addictions right now. And I don't know how I'm going to balance them. Fuck me, I guess. So that is it for that. Now let's go right into the news. Like I said, news this week is a little emptier, so Q&A questions are going to take like a big jump here, right? So let's start. So Doom 1, 2, 3 Shadow dropped on Nintendo Switch, PS4, and Xbox One. This is happening because of, is it DoomCon or QuakeCon? I think they renamed it to DoomCon. Yeah, basically Bethesda was doing like a little retrospective on the Doom series, and then they're like, boom, here's Doom 1, 2, 3. And what I really love about them is they're really dirt cheap. Like, I think Doom 1 is $3, Doom 2 is like $5, and then Doom 3, because it's more modern, is just $10. So you can essentially get all three of the games for about $20, which is pretty crazy because Capcom gave us Devil May Cry 1 for $20. So that's pretty hilarious. There's been a bit of a, not scufflebutt, but like a weird thing where they want you to log into your Bethesda.net account when you open Doom 1, which is a little weird because it's an old game. Like, it's weird opening up an old game and then being like, you gotta log in to play this. Like, imagine fucking playing Super Mario World and then having a screen that pops up saying, hey, by the way, you should log into your Nintendo account. It would just be weird. So I don't really think it's the end of the world, but it is like an annoying thing of like basically forcing you to subscribe to their Bethesda account thing. But whatever, I mean, that's not a big deal. But again, really cool move by Bethesda. It's kind of weird how now Switch has almost every Doom game, I think. Like, I think there's these three Dooms, and obviously Switch has Doom 2016, and Doom Eternal's coming to Switch. So that is really funny. And again, cool shit. More Doom is cool. Maybe I'll check them out later. I don't know. I'm a little busy right now, clearly. Oh, I also bought the game Kill la Kill If. I didn't get to play it too much yet. I only got to play the demo, but I bought the game, and I will let you know more about it next week. So then we've had a bit of a leak, right? So the Smash Bros. Hero character, the spirits, have leaked on Nintendo's website. Again, I think some of them are gone now, but basically people have discovered that the spirits from Dragon Quest, the DLC for Smash, are on the website. And again, this is fueling the fire that the hero is obviously coming soon. I really do think by this point, it's got to be an Evo drop. I mean, I think it actually would be weird if it wasn't. Like, let this week be the Fire Emblem week, and then Sunday is the Evo Grand Finals, which I'm super excited to go to. You live drop the hero right after then, right? It's like, I feel like those are two obvious pairings, right? Because I feel like, why wouldn't you capitalize on, hey guys, thank you for watching the Grand Finals. By the way, Hero is available tonight or tomorrow. I think it would usually be the next skate because sadly Smash has replays and Nintendo can't just be like, oh, here's the update, by the way, your replays are gone, fuck you. But yeah, so again, the Hero is close. I'm so tired of theorizing when it's coming, but I really do think it is going to be an Evo live drop. And again, I really do hope we get the what's it called, Banjo sooner, because I've come out and said this on Twitter to mixed response, and I get it. I really do think waiting 4 months per character is a little absurd. I mean, again, I'm not complaining too much because, again, the game has a shit ton of content, but it's like 4 months per character is a lot of time. Now, I think they are going to come a little faster now because it wouldn't make sense. Because if let's say we wait another 4 months, that would mean Banjo is in December and then the next character would be in April. So I don't think they're doing that because they said it would be done by February. So I feel like maybe Banjo is going to be October or late September, and then the next character is going to be in December, and then the final one will be in February 2020. Or March, who fucking knows. But yeah, so anyways, the hero is really close, and some of his spirits heavily. So Joy-Con issues. So for those of you, obviously, that are, unless you're living under a rock, you've heard of the Joy-Con drift. Nintendo has pleaded to the lawsuit, basically, and said, you know what, fuck it. Let's not screw ourselves here and get fucked over by losing a lot of money. Let us just do free Joy-Con repairs. So basically, I think they're starting to roll it out a little bit. It's not worldwide yet, but they're rolling it out a little more. Where basically you could send in to Nintendo your Joy-Cons for free, and they will fix it for you. No, even if you're past warranty, you could send your left or whatever Joy-Con to Nintendo, and they will fix it for you. So this is a really nice move from them because, again, obviously, it's a shitty situation. Even my Joy-Con started joining Drift City. Like yesterday, I was in the Metro playing Mario Maker, and Mario was just moving on his own, and I was like, oh god, not this. So yeah, Joy-Con drift is a bit of a shitty issue, and at least, hey, I'm glad they're fixing it and they're rectifying it because it can be very frustrating, and I can see why so many people are mad about it because it's not cool. Like, your controller should work well, and this is why I'm super excited to get a Switch Lite. Because at home I'll have my Pro Controller, I'm good, and then when I go out I'll have my Switch Lite, and obviously I think, because they're not really Joy-Cons, they're just connected controllers, there shouldn't be any issues, hopefully, and if there is, I will fucking do a backflip and scream. So that's that. And then we have a smaller one, Mario Maker 2, up to the limit of stages you could put. So instead of only being able to put 32 stages, you can now put 64 stages. This is the first actual main update for Mario Maker that we've seen. I think this is a really good one, again, because so it's good for two reasons. I get why the early limit was 32. I'm sure they want to, like, for the first month, just let people, like, you know, marinate and be like, okay, here you go. Let's see what you could do. Don't flood it with bullshit, and let's see what stuff you could put on there. But now I'm starting to see people, they want to make worlds. Like, I've seen people have a whole, like, set of levels that they've made that are world style. Well, they'll make, like, 1-1, 1-2, 1-3, and having a limit of 32, obviously, is not good, especially if, like, you have 3 or 4 levels that you had made before your idea there. With 64 levels available now, you can make, like, you can make, like, a whole game almost, right? You can make, like, over 50 levels that are designed to be, like, kind of like a game style thing. And it's just like, that's really cool and exciting. And again, I really do think this is one of the first updates for the game. I wonder when we're going to get the first massive update. I'm going to assume September, during the Nintendo Direct in September. I don't think it's going to be a new style yet. It might be, but I feel like maybe the first update is just going to be like, hey, here's some new items for 3D World and Mario Bros. U and all the other styles, right? So, like, adding new items and shit, and then maybe for the holiday season, you market, like, a new theme coming into the game, if it's maybe Mario 2 or Mario Land or whatever. So, yeah, again, cool that Mario Maker is getting its first major update. Let's just fix the online now. And I think that's honestly it for news, right? Like I said, very slow news week. I didn't even get to talk much with my friend about new stuff, but we do have a ton of your questions. So I'm going to try to go through as many as I can, right? So if you guys, everyone asks me questions, I usually put out a tweet on Friday being like, hey, by the way, I'm about to record the podcast, send in your questions. So let's get right into it. So we've got at Kelvin Rios 1, who says, with all the rumors going around of what characters could be making it into Smash, what are 2 third-party guests you'd like to see make the cut? It doesn't have to be realistic, just ones that you'd want and think would have the best moveset for Smash. In terms of third-party video game characters, like I said, I'd really want Dante. I really think Dante would be a sick character to get in there. I really think just his moveset would be badass. It would fit Smash in so many ways. It would just work really well. So that's for one third-party character. What's another third-party character I would really like? I would love to see Mega Man X. That would be really cool. Or Zero. I know Zero got shafted. I'd love another Sonic character. Like, I really do think someone like Tails deserves to get in there. Or even, what's it called? I mean, Knuckles has kind of been assist trophy. But I feel like Tails deserves a shot in there. So I feel like those would be my 2 third-party picks. Again, most of the third-party characters I'd want are in the game. Like, whether it's Sonic or Pac-Man or Mega Man or Bayonetta or all these people. So, again, they've done A fantastic job. Then we've got at Pato_Alva98. Your favorite game as a kid, and who do you prefer, Futaba or Futaba? As a kid, my favorite game, I want to say as a kid, my favorite game was probably Mario, one of the Marios. It was probably Mario World on the Game Boy. No, Mario 3 on the Game Boy Advance, because they re-released the games on the Game Boy Advance. I really love Mario 3 there. Do I prefer Futaba or Futaba? I think I like Futaba more than Futaba, because I feel like Futaba is great, but the other Futaba is just like, so Futaba all fucking day. Next up, you got at Dynamo Super. What's up, Jordan? We almost got every major title in Switch's 2018 and 2019's lineup, like Mario Party, Smash, Fire Emblem, Luigi's Mansion, Legend of Zelda, etc. I think 2020 will kill us. We know Animal Crossing is 2020, but do you have any likely and bold predictions for 2021? Games, hardware, and updates. So, yeah, I mean, I've talked about this a bit on my own time, where I really feel like it's interesting that we're in a spot where we know about a lot of Nintendo's games, and most of them are coming out this year. The only ones that are coming next year that we know of, even then, we know Animal Crossing. We know the Breath of the Wild sequel is happening. They announced it, but there's no date. We know Metroid Prime 4 is happening. And is there something? There's one more game. I'm blanking out on. Right? So we've got those. And I really do think that's what's really interesting about 2020 is we don't know Nintendo's lineup. And I think that's really cool because, again, we've known about a lot of these games for a while. Some got delayed and pushed. That's why we have so many this year. But yeah, so let's talk about that for a second. I really do think, first of all, in terms of hardware, I think late next year we might be seeing the Switch Pro. I hope so. Again, I hope this year is about the Switch Lite, and maybe next year is Switch Pro because of more third parties joining in. So that's that for hardware. I think we'll continue to see Joy-Cons. But in terms of games, again, you have to think of the series we just haven't seen yet that are likely to get announcements. So first, the big one I have is I really do think Mario Odyssey 2 is next year. I think 3 years later would make a lot of sense if they're using the same engine, if they're just adding new environments and gameplay mechanics and all that stuff. They didn't even do DLC. I mean, they did costumes, but that's it. Like, the fact, to me, the biggest thing is that they didn't make a major DLC pack for Odyssey when everyone thought that would be so obvious and definitely in there. So the fact that they don't have that means they really went straight away into, okay, you know what? Let's just make Odyssey 2, right? And let's remember, they had Odyssey done really early. Like, Odyssey was actually one of their choices to be the launch game for Switch, but they chose Breath of the Wild instead. So they've had a lot of time to work on Mario Odyssey and the sequel, and I really do think that might be next year. Other than that, there's series, again, that we haven't seen yet that are likely to be next year. So I think next year is the year we'll see either a Paper Mario or a, or a Mario and Luigi game. I'm excited to see the Switchification of that. I would love a 1,000-Year Door remake. Just do it, Nintendo. Just people will throw their wallets at you. So please just give us that, right? You have to think of other series. What else could we see? I feel like maybe we'll get the announcement of Mario Kart 9. I feel like that's coming, and I don't know why. I just feel it in my bones. I think we'll see the next Kirby game. That's going to be a cool one. What else? We'll see the next game from Monolith Soft. I feel like maybe we could see that this year. I mean, let me check Nintendo franchise. I don't want to do the thing where I blank out on shit and forget. But yeah, I think we'll see Monolith Soft's next game. It could even release next year. I wouldn't even be too surprised, right? What else? Pikmin. I think we'll finally see whatever the fuck Pikmin 4 is. Then maybe that'll finally come out. We'll probably get another Pokemon spin-off. We'll probably get another Mario Party, honestly, next year. Because the fact that Super Mario Party didn't get DLC, which is crazy, definitely means they're just going to release another one. And again, that game series sells a lot for some fucking reason. People love it. Well, I get why, but it's crazy. So that's that for that. What other franchises are there? There's Bayonetta. Oh, yeah, Bayonetta 3. Hopefully we'll see that. Donkey Kong Country, man, I don't know. I would love a new Donkey Kong Country, but is it gonna happen? I don't know. I hope so. Again, retro is kind of weird right now. Star Fox, is that Grand Prix game real or not? I don't know. Mario will definitely see a sports game, whether it's golf or what's it called? Because this year we're getting the Olympics, so that counts as the sports game for the year. So next year we'll probably get something like Mario Golf or Mario Basketball or some shit. So yeah, again, I don't know if next year is going to be as crazy as this year. I think next year we'll still have a lot of amazing stuff, whether it's Animal Crossing, potentially Mario Odyssey, that's already huge, and a couple other things we don't know about. But yeah, so that is what I think about the future, and I can't wait to see more. Let's see. I'm trying to scroll through these. Let's see. At Jason Overclocked. Why, why do you reject the salvation of our Lord and Savior Cloud, but fall prey to the temptations of Edelgard? Listen, man, Edelgard is a beautiful woman, and she's super cool, and she's badass. But I'll tell you this, in Fire Emblem Three Houses, Claude almost seduced me. He is a very, very charming human being, and he almost fucking seduced me to his fucking house. But no, I will not join the Golden Deers. I am Black Eagles all day. But I can't wait to play it and redo that. Let's see. At Princess Gamer, what got you into gaming, and how has that impacted your life? Again, I've talked about this question before. It's not a question I know how to answer, really. I think I remember just playing games as a kid, whether it's Mario Land or Sonic or whatever, and it's just like, ever since then, I've just been in love with video games, and I just constantly play them, and I want to learn more and more about them. So that's that. What else do we get? What Demantia says, why do you suck at Smash? Go fuck yourself, bro. Let's see. What else do we got? At Connectrix says, if you're still doing this, then what do you think is the best moment in Persona 5? Ooh, best moment in Persona 5. I think it counts as a spoiler, but I won't say it. I'll give a hint at it. It's a late game thing that happened to a pancake person, right? You'll get what I mean, but that's a very powerful emotional moment that I really think stands out in Persona 5. At Beatster says, your thoughts of Fire Emblem Three Houses as a somewhat new player. Are you talking about yourself or for me? Again, like I said, my thoughts on the game are, I think it's amazing, and I think it's a really great entry point for new characters. So let's see, what else we got here? At Barry Lish-ish says, give us some of your thoughts on 2020. What are you looking forward to the most? Also, let us know your first impressions of Three Houses, spoiler free. Again, I gave a lot of my impressions early on in the episode. So for 2020 games that aren't Nintendo, we've got a lot of amazing stuff. I mean, early on next year, we've got Cyberpunk 2077. We've got Fire Emblem. Sorry, not Fire Emblem. We got, what's that game? Final Fantasy VII Remake. We've got Animal Crossing New Horizons. We've got Watch Dogs 3. We've got a shit ton of things. We've got the Avengers game coming up. So 2020 is looking like a stacked year. It looks like, because it's going to be the last major year for the consoles, it looks like it's just going to have some incredible kind of end game stuff, right? What else we got? We've got those are the main ones. We've got Gods and Monsters from Ubisoft's coming. We've got Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, which I'm god tier excited for. So again, I think 2020 is going to be a fantastic year, because again, this year people have been saying it's great, not incredible. But next year is going to be wild, just with Cyberpunk by itself. Cool. So next up, we got at Johnny Loxon. When do you think the Switch Pro will be announced? Also, when it's announced, do you think developers will make exclusive games just for the Pro? That's such a hard one, because I feel like I don't think they can do that. No, I don't think they will do that, because that is a big no-no. The PS4 Pro doesn't do it. The Xbox One X doesn't do it. I feel like you start to enter an annoying category there of like developers starting to be like, okay, we'll just make games for the Pro, because I think the Pro isn't going to be a crazy update. I think the Pro is going to be, it's just going to be a little more powerful, so that games like, I don't know, like games like Doom that come to the Switch, or third-party game, or like Rocket League or all this stuff look just better on the Switch, whether it's on the handheld or the TV. I think it's just going to make games look a little better, have that extended great battery life, and just have like a better graphics boost. But I don't think it's going to be big enough to warrant like game-exclusive things. Again, if I don't answer some of these, it's because I've answered them before. At AC Sonic 103, what's your favorite fighter game other than Smash Bros, and why? Dragon Ball FighterZ. Dragon Ball FighterZ is my not Smash Bros favorite fighting game. I just adore the character roster, obviously because I'm a massive Dragon Ball head. It looks incredible. The gameplay is amazing. I got so into it and addicted to it. It's a very special game. Let's see. At A. James Bryant 831. If you were in a situation, how would you deal with not being able to buy video games as soon as they're out, and not having all the time to play anything at all? Because I want a big cry right now. I would feel pretty shitty. Again, I know there's going to be a point in life where that happens, where I have stuff to do, and whether it's a family, whether it's like having a fucking family or whatever, that time is going to become more limited. But I think I'll always find financial means to get the games I want. But yeah, time stuff is going to be a bitch when that happens. Alwee says, 2 underrated games for Switch and PS4. I'd say on Switch, Mighty Gunvolt. No, not Mighty Gunvolt. Acer Striker Gunvolt is really underrated. I feel like, what's another underrated game? I feel like Mario Tennis Aces is pretty underrated. I actually love that game. I think, what's another underrated Switch game? There's a ton of indie games that are underrated on Switch. I feel like Mutant Mudds Collection's underrated. That's a pretty amazing one. On PS4, what the fuck is underrated on PS4? There's a ton of underrated stuff everywhere. Let's see. Let me go for my fucking list here. I feel like the Persona dancing games, they're fucking really good. I think actually Team Sonic Racing's underrated on both platforms. I think Naruto Storm 4 is underrated. I really love that game so much. So yeah, those are that. Cooper says, what are your thoughts on Lemmy of Super Mario 3 fame? I love him, bro. He's a fantastic character. We've got, what's his name? Ultimo Wielder saying favorite fighting game. Obviously, Smash Bros. We've talked about that. Let's see. What else have we got here? Peaky Crossing says, who's your favorite E-girl starting with S and ending with Era? I have no idea. Phantom Joker says, thoughts on Kill la Kill If. Again, I haven't gotten to play the full game yet. I bought it. I'm going to. I only played the demo, but from what I played, the game looks fucking beautiful. The gameplay looks super cool. And no, has been super cool, and I can't wait to play through the story and everything. At real_logi says, random question, have you played Tales of Xillia? I finished it and thought it was a 10 out of 10, and I'm curious to see your opinions on it if you played it. I have not played it. I only played a bit. I only played like 20 hours of Vesperia on the Switch, so it's a series I want to get into, but just haven't really had the time to get into, but I have not played Xillia yet. House 3, another guy, Bip Blitz says, House 3 Houses so far, and is there anything that might convince me to buy it? I've never really tried Fire Emblem, but it seems interesting. Listen, I would say if you like, because your profile picture here is actually, I think, is that Persona? I don't know. No, I think that's the Death Note guy. Point is, I think if you like RPGs, or you just like anime, I really highly recommend this game. Even if you don't think you're going to be good at it, I feel like put it on easy, right, and just go through the story. I feel like it's worth it alone just to experience those characters, that world, and just get an understanding of the game. Like, the game is just really unique and really interesting in many ways, and I think you'll love it. I really do think. I think this is the one. This is the one that you really need to get. At Phantom_Fox75 says, favorite Sonic character besides Sonic himself? Ooh, favorite Sonic character that isn't Sonic. Let's see. Is it? I think it might be. I think it's Tails. I think it's got to be Tails. He is the boy wonder. I really do love, what's his name? I really do love the two from the Sonic Mania DLC, Mighty and Ray. Those are really great, but like I don't really know them too well. Obviously, Eggman is a highlight. So I actually really love Silver. Silver's really cool. So let's see. At Staflame says, I got a question for the podcast, bro. What is your top 10 favorite games of all time? You might have already gotten this question last time, though. Yes, so I actually did not get this question yet. So what are my favorite games of all time? I actually have a list here of my top favorite games. So let's check this out so I can remember. Obviously, I should know this on top of my head, but let's see what I got here. So basically, my top 10 games, I won't necessarily give an order. For now is, no, I shall give an order that I have. No, wait, I can't do it. Okay, I don't want to spoil it. So point is, my top 10 games are, I'm not going to give an order for them. I'm just going to say them randomly. Mario Galaxy 2, Persona 5, Mario Bros. 3, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, The Legend of Zelda The Wind Waker, Dragon Ball FighterZ, Sonic Mania, Smash Ultimate, Mario Odyssey. Those are the 10 right now. I feel like I would add Mario Maker 2 there, but those are currently my top 10 favorite video games. What else we got? We got at Nintendo Nerd saying Edelgard, I agree with you. Another Smash question I'm not going to answer. Grizz_Grizzle says, what game would we all judge you for not completing? Love the podcast, by the way, especially the Q&A. Thank you, buddy. What game would you judge me for not playing all the way? Maybe Skyrim or Final Fantasy VII. Like, I feel like maybe I played it fully as a kid, but not really. I played it through as a kid, but modern times I have not. So maybe that's the one. So I don't know. At Just says, obviously, how thoughts on 3 Houses I gave him. At Neon_Livic, what's the game that made you? No, I've answered this a million times. Robert_Snare, what is your overall favorite 3D Zelda game? It's Breath of the Wild. I think Breath of the Wild is just such a special, lovely video game that I love so much. At Bean Dip Bro says, what is the most inspiring video game you have ever played? I feel like I don't think I've ever played an inspiring video game, but I've had games that like blew me the fuck away in terms of just like what they can do. And I just think, I think like especially a game like Mario Galaxy. Mario Galaxy, when I first played that game, blew me away, and it changed how like I thought about video games. I'm like, oh my god, games can just be like really wild and incredible. And yeah, I think that was one of the first that did that. What else we got? At Nathan says, which Nintendo series have you not played yet? What Nintendo series have I not played? I haven't played Nintendogs, but that's because I don't want to or care to. What else have I not fucking played? Maybe Pilot Wings. That's another series I haven't touched. I think that's really it. I haven't really played F-Zero much. I've played one of them, but that's it. So I haven't really gotten to play that much. At Alistair LSBT says, ever played a Persona game? And if you have played them, most of them, which one is your favorite? I've played 4 and 5, and my favorite is 5. Let's see who or what inspired you the most by Paper Jam 126. I grew up with YouTubers, so I actually think a lot of YouTubers are my inspiration. So I grew up with like Sugar Khan, where he's been inspiring to me, or like Game Explain, or Rogers Base, or Show for All's Gang. It's like a lot of YouTube content creators. Let's see. At Quirky Katie Ruin says, Fedal, I suck at video games, especially shooters. So what are your recommendations for me to play so I can get better at them? I want to play things with AC Sonic, but I will drag him down. Okay, interesting. That's a good one. I would honestly recommend Splatoon. I know it's a weird one, but hear me out, because that's a third-person shooter. I don't know if you meant first-person. But if you're just talking about shooters in general, I recommend Splatoon. I feel like that's a really good one to learn because, like, it's not too complicating and it teaches you the mechanics of a third-person shooter. It's really weird, too. What's another good, easy one? I'd say Overwatch. That's a really good one. Like, it really is just a few buttons you have to learn, and it's not frustrating. I feel like those are two really good ones. I'd say if you play, if you play any first-person shooter on easy, like, just play the campaigns of any whether it's Call of Duty or whatever the fuck, or Metroid Prime. It's like, I feel like if you play any first-person shooter on easy and play through the campaign, you'll get a better understanding of it, because usually the enemies end up really being stupid, and you'll figure out. So I believe in you. You got this. You got this, Katie. Then we're almost at the end here. So at Griff Gaming YT says, what's your favorite video game OST? I think that goes to Sonic Mania. I think Sonic Mania overall has my favorite soundtrack. Smash would be cheating, so we're going to give it to Mania. And I think from my favorite song from I don't know it's funny, Mania is my favorite overall soundtrack, but I don't know what my favorite song is in a game. It might be, maybe it's the New Donk City theme, or maybe it's, what's it called, the Gusty Garden Galaxy. It's like, there's a lot of incredible stuff. Then, what is your, at Imazumas4 says, Imazamasu4 says, what is your favorite parody of Dragon Ball Z? I like the Team 4-Star ones. And the final one we got is Mr. Koala saying, favorite anime, it is Dragon Ball. So, that is it. Those are the Q&A cues. That's everything I've got for you today. So, I want to thank you all for watching. Like I said, you can leave me feedback in the comments. You can talk below. Let me know your thoughts on Fire Emblem. I want to know what you think, what you've got in mind, how you're loving the game. And again, like I said, highly recommend it. It is my pick of the week. And you need this game. You just absolutely need it. And that is all I got for you. So I love you guys. Stay fantastic. I need like an outro. Okay, let's do an outro. Outro. I'm going to shut the fuck up. I'm leaving now. Bye. Peace out, guys. Love you. Keep on doing things.